Hi, this is John of Trish and John's Gardening Channel. We wanted to give you a quick update on our peppers. Today is March 22nd. It's 43 days after we propagated the seeds for these peppers. Today we're going to be up potting these plants. We're going to be going from the 3-inch net pots that we originally seeded these in, and we're going to be up potting them to 5-inch net pots. We're going to continue the air pruning method with these larger pots. So the first thing we do, we have a good all-purpose potting soil here. We happen to be using Happy Frog potting soil. You don't need to use that. You could use any good potting soil will do. We've got two gallons of soil here. I know that because this happens to be a 4-quart container, which is holds about 4 gallons. So at about half full, we get about 2 gallons of soil. And to that, we're going to amend the soil with 3 things. We're going to be adding our Epsom salt, which adds magnesium sulfate. That's really beneficial for peppers and things like tomatoes. We use that throughout the season. So we're going to start introducing that into the plant's diet starting today. We have a good Happy Frog all-purpose fertilizer. You can see there it's a 745 mixture. We don't want anything with too much nitrogen at this point. In other words, you wouldn't want, in my opinion, something with a 10-5-5 or something like that. You don't want the nitrogen to be too high at this point, at least not until you get it into the garden. And the third thing we're going to be adding is the ezomite. That adds all kinds of trace minerals to the soil, which is beneficial and jumpstart these plants. Okay, so what we've done here is we've added 4 tablespoons each of the Happy Frog, the ezomite, and the Epsom salt to the soil. We've mixed it well into the soil. We want to make sure that mixture is well incorporated as it can be. So we've gone ahead and done that. Now, one thing I've done here, if you remember our original video on these net pots, we put a coffee filter in the bottom of the pot. I found that your standard coffee filter here works really well. Actually fits quite well into the bottom of that pot, but we don't want the coffee filter all the way up through the sides. Kind of defeats the purpose of the air pruning method. So what we did here was you basically take a filter, and I'll say about a 1/2 inch above the where it's naturally has the bottom there. Go ahead and cut that all the way around. I'll go ahead and quickly do that for you here. All right. So we've got a very shallow bowl or cup, if you will. Okay, we take that and we put it in the bottom of the pot. You can see there, fits perfectly actually. So we've already started a pot here again with the coffee filter in the bottom, and I've added only about maybe 1 inch of soil on the bottom, and I'll show you why in a minute. So we've taken this pot, again, we've taken this out of this net pot. One thing you're going to notice here, hopefully you can see that, the roots, it's interesting where the top of the pot was, where you have the solid side. You do get some, the spinning of the roots, but everywhere else as planned, you don't get any kind of root bound condition or anything like that. So, all right, so what we're going to do is, if you remember, when we planted the seeds, we planted them down, this was about 2/3 full. So we've, again, added soil as this plant got taller and taller. And so that seed was planted way down here. So we've already buried about 1 inch of the stem of this plant. So today we're going to up pot it. We're going to put it in here. We're actually going to bury it to the bottom of these 2 cotyledons. These are the first leaves that come out. They're not the true leaves. The first true leaves are here. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to put this in here, and let me show you here. When we bury this, okay, we're actually going to fill this nearly full, and we'll bring that up to again the base of the cotyledon. So let me go ahead and do that. I'll cut the film for 1 second and we'll show you what that looks like. Okay, we've got our pots here now. What we do is, when I fill this around, I just use a spoon here and I go ahead and just fill around the edges of the pot and tamp down lightly. Now, what I want you to see here is when we filled this up, we filled it to the level where, the pot's nearly full, and we've got the soil to the level where it's just at the level of the first two leaves that come out. Again, those are the cotyledons. The first two true leaves are here, and then of course the rest of these are all true leaves. So we buried it up to that level. I'm not going to be burying this much deeper at this point, going forward. I may plant it a little bit deeper again when we put these outside, but for right now, we're done kind of burying it. We'll have about 2 inches of the stem at this point that's buried below the soil, which for peppers, I think is a pretty good start. So one last thing here. Okay, so what I'm also going to do, I'm going to go ahead and top these plants at this point in time. I want to save as many of the true leaves as I can, but I'm going to go ahead, I'm actually going to save 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm going to go ahead and top this plant at this point in time with these scissors. Bear with me here. Just make sure I get the right thing. Okay, so what we've done here, hopefully you can see that, is we've taken off the main stem here. We've left, in this case, we've left 7 true leaves. What that's going to do is it's going to stop the plant from growing at this point straight up. It's going to kind of focus the energy of the plant on the base of the plant. The stem will get thicker, it'll get stronger, and if you can see here, hopefully you can see there, get my finger out of the way, these little nodes here where the true leaves are in the stem meat, you can see there's actually already little offshoots. Now those shoots are going to come out, those will start becoming the main stem. So rather than having one main stem at the top, which comes up, we'll have more of a bush effect, and these two and maybe more up here will start to bush out and become much stronger. Adds much benefit to the plant. Long term looks drastic at this point, but if you just kind of bear with it and trust the method, it actually works quite well. So the last thing here is we want to use a water bath to water these. I've got about 1 inch of water in this tray. Those take about probably take about 45 minutes or so, maybe up to an hour before this gets wet enough. No problem. You got to kind of give it time. The initial time, it takes a little bit more time for this dry soil to get wet, but once you do that, every other day or so, maybe every second day, we'll be watering these plants. It takes a lot less time for these to actually go ahead and get wet. Now, so one other thing I wanted to show you here, again, using these net pots, you do lose a little bit of soil. You'll see here in this water, if you're worried about that, I'm not. You lose a little bit of the soil initially, but as these settle in, as the dirt kind of settles into the pot, really you don't lose much dirt at all. These have been in here again for 43 days, and I haven't lost any measurable amount of soil. So, but if you're concerned with that, if you use 2 of these pots, hopefully, not sure how well you can see this, but if you use 2 of these pots, you can see the openings here, and go ahead and just, I'll say, tune it. You can go ahead and make this pot a more traditional pot. Of course, less soil would come out through the openings, and then if you need to be later on, you can go ahead and tune it, just by turning the inside and the outside, and you can go ahead and turn this net pot, if you will, into a more traditional pot. Okay, so here we are. We've got 8 of our 9 pepper plants potted up into the 5-inch net pots. The one in the back there, right there, that one was lagging. I'm going to leave him in a 3-inch net pot for now. Another thing you might notice here, I didn't top them all. I've topped the taller plants, the ones that were further along. Some of these here, and here, I've left the way they are. I'll wait probably another week or so before I go ahead and top those. So that's it for today. Again, we'll be following up with future episodes and letting you guys know how our pepper plants are doing, and hope to see you guys soon. If you like this video, please like it and share it with your friends. That would be great, and we'll see you guys very soon. Have a nice day. Cheers.